The biggest storage facility belonging to the Ghana Medical Service has since morning been gutted by fire. Now, we're told about 80% of medical facilities distributed to public hospitals in all 10 regions are stored here. Now, the Ghana National Fire Service is finding a tough time in putting the fire off. The warehouse, together with the drugs in here, we're told are not insured. The cause of the fire is not immediately known. My name is Aisha Barima, and this is today's big story. So we're talking today's big story and the fire that gutted the Ghana Health Service's biggest storage facility. But this plus the CHRAJ Boss, who has been suspended, and President John Dramani Mahama has, on the advice of the Judicial Council, asked the CHRAJ Boss to be suspended from office. Ms. Loretta Lamte, she's Commissioner of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, CHRAJ, and Chief of Staff Prosper Bani said in a statement on Tuesday that the suspension follows the establishment of a prima facie case against Ms. Lamte by the Chief Justice and the setting up of a 5-member committee to investigate complaints made against her. Now, the suspension, Mr. Bani noted, is to protect the integrity of the inquiry. Ms. Lamte has been asked to hand over her duties to a Deputy Commissioner of CHRAJ, Mr. Richard Quayson, not later than Friday, January 16, 2015. Joining me online is Emil Short. He's former CHRAJ boss. I'm told we just lost him, but we'll struggle to get him back to tell us what really this means and whether the CHRAJ boss in question or whether there is any justification for this kind of directive. But we'll go back to the fire scene where my colleague Kwabena Chenchenhene is standing by. He will give us some updates from the scene. Earlier, the fire service was not able to quench the fire, and the fire was rather aggravating. But when we get back to Kwabena Chenchenhene, he'll be able to tell us whether the fire service is being able to put off the fire, and maybe we'll be able to also know the cause of the fire and probably also to find out the extent of damage of the fire. We'll take a short break and be back shortly. So we're hearing news that the CHRAJ boss has just been suspended, and she has not less than Friday to hand over to the Deputy CHRAJ boss, Mr. Quayson. Joining me online is Emil Short. He is former CHRAJ boss. Good evening, sir. Thanks for joining me on TBS. We've just heard that the CHRAJ boss has been suspended according to a directive by the president. Is there any justification for this?
Well, it's not surprising. In the first place, you'll recall that the Chief Justice had made a preliminary finding that she has a case to answer, and so she's supposed to appear before a 5-member committee, to answer these allegations. And so what is ongoing now is a full-blown investigation. And it is normal when public officials have been investigated on very serious allegations, for them to be asked to step aside while the investigation is ongoing, so as not to interfere with the investigation or to compromise the integrity of the investigation. It's nothing unusual. And especially in this case, as it has been, the recommendation was coming from the Judicial Council to the President.
Let's let's look at what brought about this whole investigation. This is a commissioner who's waiting for her official residence to be ready or to be renovated. And so she finds refuge in sleeping in a hotel. What did she do wrong? Did she go wrong by doing so?
Well, I'm not going to go into the merits of the case. The matter is pending before the five-member committee, and so it would not be appropriate for me to discuss the merits of the case.
And so now that she's been asked to step down, for you, what could be the next action?
Well, the commission will continue with Mr. Question acting as commissioner until the matter is resolved. So I think that we'll all have to wait for the outcome of the investigation. Either she's exonerated or adverse findings are made against her, and the recommendation will be made to the Chief Justice, who will then transmit that recommendation to the President. So we just have to wait and see what happens.
Will her absence make any impact or bring any implications onto the commission?
No, I don't think so. Actually, her absence will probably ease the pressure on the commission. You know, her continued stay in office was not something that was acceptable to a lot of people, including the petitioners. So I think her absence will be a relief to those who have petitioned the president, as well as, you know, all the commentators and analysts who have expressed grave misgivings about her performance. So I don't think it will affect the running of the commission in any way. But it rather assists, you know, the ongoing inquiry as well as the image of the commission.
But going forward, would you advise a particular line that people appointed in such positions should to?
Well, I mean, advise people who are appointed to such positions what they should do.
Exactly. I mean, when they're faced with such circumstances, since you have been there before.
When they are faced with such an investigation or
not investigating
their obligation.
Exactly.
Their function.
Exactly.
Well, the normal thing for anybody in such a position is to discharge your function in the best way possible, you know, demonstrate competence, demonstrate integrity, independence, and act in accordance with the oath which you have taken, you know, to discharge your functions without fear or favor. And so this is what is required of any leader of any institution, you know. So I think that's standard expectation from, you know, most people.
Well, I guess we'd have to leave it there and wait till the Commission of Inquiry do their job. Then we can know whether she'll be exonerated or she'll be made to face some charge. Thank you very much for talking to us. I have on the line also Richard Nyama. He's the one who petitioned the president, actually asking him to suspend or remove the CHRAJ Boss. Good evening, Richard. Thanks for joining me.
Good evening, madam.
Are you satisfied now that the CHRAJ Boss has been suspended?
Oh, yes. I'm elated.
You are. But just suspending her doesn't mean that she will be sacked. But you're actually asking that she steps down. Is that not what you're asking for?
Yes. I appreciate that fact. And it's not lost on me and my council. We took that step so that we would have a hearing, because in my view, at a point, I may be called upon to witness, and then I may further also call other witnesses to help me. And the witnesses could come from CHRAJ. I have documentations in my possession that may require verification and validation from CHRAJ. And if those officers came and they were coming to do it against their boss, I felt that they could be compromised or limited in their ability to actually bear witness. And so, if Article 14610B, the President has taken the counsel of the Judicial Council. I can only say thank you to him and let the ball roll. I'm now very sure that there will be a fair hearing, and I would accept the outcome of the committee when it's concluded.
But one school of thought will say that she was just seeking shelter because her official residence was not ready. What would you have done anything different if you were in her shoes?
That is going into the merits of the case. I have put my case before the committee. I have put my evidence before them. I will go and put any other evidence and validation. Unfortunately, I'm not able to give my personal opinions and other commentaries on this aspect, because that's going to the merit of the case.
And so in case she's exonerated by this commission, what will be your next line of action? Would you go back to court?
Oh, if she's exonerated, for me, there's nothing personal. I don't know Madame Loretta. I've never met her. For me, I'm talking about fighting for good governance, trying to salvage the image of the institution, because I have dealt with them on several cases since 2009. Virtually every year, I have a major case with them. And so if I see it going down the drain, it's my responsibility to ensure I help clean it up.
And so that's to say you will accept the outcome, whether she's exonerated or whether she's asked to step down, you would accept the outcome?
I would accept the outcome, because for me, I would have done my civic responsibility of ensuring that the right thing is done. And if the court rule in her favor, and that is the only court, more or less, is virtually the Supreme Court, because out of the 5, 2 of them are Supreme Court judges. Maybe my lawyer may advise otherwise, but it would depend on my thinking and feeling as at then. But you know what? I'm very confident and comfortable with what is going on.
You're confident in what is going on, as in the Commission of Inquiry, or what exactly are you talking about?
Yes, the whole process so far. I'm very confident, and I'm happy with the process.
Well, many thanks to you, Richard Nyama. Like you said, we'll all keep our fingers crossed, wait for the Commission of Inquiry to come out with their recommendations. That was Richard Nyama. He petitioned the president to actually ask the CHRAJ Boss to step down, and we're hearing that he's actually suspended her, and she has not less than Friday to hand over to her deputy, Richard Quayson. And so we'll be holding on and hanging on and following up the Commission of Inquiry's work, and then we'll look at the recommendation. And so Joy News promises to bring you an update of that. But we'll be going shortly to the fire scene. We told you earlier that there's fire that has gutted the biggest medical facility of the Ghana Health Service. That's where they keep all the medical supplies. They distribute to all 10 regions, and it's gutted fast since 10 a.m. this morning, and the fire service is finding it tough to put the fire down. Let's get to the fire scene right now and get some sounds from there.
Since this time now is about 20 minutes past 6, so the fire has been raging since 10 a.m. or so, just a little over 8 hours. The situation, even though it looks like it's improving, just when you have hope that the situation is actually improving, some way, somehow it goes back there. I would want my cameraman, David, to actually turn and give you shots of what is happening over here. That is where, if you're seeing this is actually where we are told the fire started. It started from that side. It started from that particular side. That's the tail end of the building, the extreme right over there, and it spread up to this particular point. It spread from that stretch up to the central point, the main point where the warehouses itself are situated. I want us to go back to where we were at the first time. We came to you with a live report of what was actually happening, the extent of damage, and it looked like the situation was improving. But let's quickly go back there. And we can see whether or not the situation has improved like it was. Again, these are live visuals you are seeing. We are still live here on the grounds at Tema. This is just around the Valco roundabout. If you know Tema, from Accra to Tema, when you get to the Valco roundabout, you take your left turn. And okay, so yeah, that is it. So those are the live visuals of things you're seeing. Just a few hours ago, when we reported, that place wasn't this hot. The fire there was almost done, was almost off. But the situation currently here is that the fire is back. Some way, somehow, we don't know how it's happened, but we've seen a lot more fire tenders here, a lot more fire tenders trying to put out the same fire, but some way, somehow, they keep coming. So again, as you can see over there, one fire tender is in the building already, is in the premise, trying to put out that fire. We are told it almost spread to the adjoining building on the left. With the adjoining building on the left, I mean the particular one just here. We are told it almost spread to that side, but the fire service has put it out for now. That's the information we have. Again, okay, again, we will go in, we'll try and get closer to the scene so you can see what is actually going on here. Okay, so that's the fire tender I spoke to you about earlier. It is actually here with, okay, and the firemen are here. They are busily fighting it. Okay, I can see some firemen busily fighting the fire that almost spread to the adjoining building over there. They are busily fighting it. They are making sure it doesn't spread to that angle. Okay, so in fact, all the sites we visited earlier, everything we saw here, which looked like the fire here had been put out, has been something that happened, let's say something for the history books. As things stand now, the fire is back. It's actually worse than it actually was earlier. Way worse than it was when we got here, and way worse than we first reported it. Okay, let me, all right. Cameraman can come this way. David is doing a fantastic job. Okay, so because of the darkness, I'm not sure you'll be able to see everything, and because of the smoke as well, you might not see everything, but yes, over there are 3 fire officers who are busily trying to put out this fire. 3 of them, okay, yes, 3 of them, yes, I was right with that number. Okay, 4 of them actually, 4 of them. Okay, so they have managed to put out that particular fire. Okay, I'm hoping I can speak to someone here. Okay, all right. But who can I speak to? Station officer. Right now, the station officer is around there. We can't speak to anyone. You can't speak now. Yeah. Okay, I'll be speaking to him, but I'm just. Yeah. Is it that he was spreading to the adjoining building? That's what we are told. No. It wasn't. No. It didn't get to the adjoining building. No. Okay. All right. Let me quickly try and establish contact with Billy Anagla. But again, you can see the fire raging on, and I'm just imagining the amount of money going down the drain as things stand now. So much money going to waste currently. And is it due to the inefficiencies of the fire service? Obviously not, some will say, but probably they could have done this better. They could have probably responded to the situation better. But as things stand now, they are still trying their very best to put out the fire, which many people here think it will be very difficult to quench, unless, of course, probably the day ends. Okay, I said I was going to try and establish contact with Mr. Billy Anaglate. He's with the Public Relations Service of the Ghana National Fire Service, Public Relations Department, I must say. I spoke to him earlier. What he told me was that they have managed to prevent the fire from spreading to the other warehouses, the adjoining buildings here. That was what he told me earlier. And he said the fire currently, as it stands, okay, at the time, he said as the situation was improving and that they had fairly managed the situation and that the fire should be put out soon. I'm hoping Billy Anaglate, okay, yeah, Billy Anaglate is just here. Let me quickly, okay, all right, so I'm told he's speaking to the chief fire officer. I'm sure he's briefing him on what's currently going on here. And again, like I told you, many more fire tenders have joined the fray. Many more people have come here. Those who were here early on seem to be a bit exhausted, so many have left. They're eyewitnesses, quite a number of them who were here. Many of them seem to have left the premises because they seem exhausted. Ourselves, we are a bit exhausted, but because we need to get you all these visuals, we are still here getting. And indeed, let me remind you, these are live visuals you are seeing. These are not recorded or anything. These are live visuals that you are seeing from the ground right here at Tema. Mr. Billy Anaglate should be joining us pretty shortly with an update on why the fire has seems to have gotten out of hand. Let me put it that way. I can't say it has gotten out of hand. I am not the technical brain here. I'm not the expert. They are the experts. I'm sure they'll be in a better position to address it and let us know whether or not indeed the fire has actually worsened, you know. Okay, all right. So he's briefing the chief fire officer, and I'm eavesdropping, and what I can hear is that he says the only thing that's actually helping them now is the foam. But for the foam, probably the situation would have gotten worse. Mr. Billy Anaglati joins us now. Maybe we can have a quick one here. Mr. Anaglati, I spoke to you not too long ago, and the situation seemed under control. What happened?
Well, actually, personally, I am not surprised seeing the fire to reignite because of the type of combustible materials and substances that we are talking of chemicals. And then there are a lot of plastics that has also melted and has covered the actual chemicals that are burning. I stated it earlier on that some of the chemicals are not miscible with water. If they are not miscible with water, reducing its concentration below the ignition temperature becomes a problem. And where you also have plastics that has melted to form a coated layer on the burning material, you using water, throwing water, the plastic layer, coated layer, serves as a shield where the water itself, you don't have that impact that the water should have on the burning substance and to break the chain of chemical reaction during the combustion. And it becomes difficult really for a fire of this nature should just go off totally, because we are talking of a temperature that could sustain the fire to a certain level. So if you have the fire gone down, like we all saw a few hours ago, that does not mean that the fire was totally off. Technically, we know that it could reignite. That is why we are here, trying to ensure that every pocket of it is totally extinguished. We should also not forget that looking at the type of wind, the velocity of the wind that is even here with us, it is also aiding and fanning the fire. That is why with the slightest heat and with that sort of level of the
harmattan and the wind is actually playing a role in the fire we are having now. Okay, let me come to this. To the layman, the ordinary person watching across Ghana, across Africa, the fire was almost out at that particular side, that particular stretch, that other entrance over there. One would ask, why didn't we totally put that off? We seem to have left that side and we're focusing on this other entry point. What is there a tactical move? Was that tactical in any way?
Yes. If you look at the building that we have here, this building that is also having other goods, chemicals,
well, very alarming there, but we'll bring you more of this on news at 8. But it's time now for JNI. Please stay.